Hey everybody, welcome to Guided Listening this week. I'm Antoniuk from Jazzwire. We've got a really fun one for you. This is Chick Corea and the song Armando's Rhumba from the 1976, maybe, album My Spanish Heart. So this is a great tune. I'm excited about it because this is actually a song we're doing at one of our 3 Summer Summit workshops, our flagship Washington, D.C. Summer Summit, which is July 29 through August 2nd, 2025. This is our 22nd year. I can't believe it. We've expanded to 5 days. We have more than 80 people coming from across North America, across the world to this thing. So this is something I'd really love to fit you in. We've got like a handful of spots, like 6 spots left or something like that. Let me know, reach out, go to the website and look for information. We have a few more spots left for the Canadian Summit, which is in Edmonton, Canada in June, and for the Twin Cities Summit, our very first year in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and that's July 17th through the 20th. So yes, great way for us to work on this music together. It's great to like hang out on YouTube, which is not hanging out at all. I'm looking at my camera right now. I want to be looking at you. So yes, hopefully we find a way to work together. Okay, this song, wow. Gosh, there's so much to talk about here, and I could take an hour and a half and stop the recording like 80 times to talk about what's going on, but I'll try to keep it simpler than that. We've got Chick Corea on piano, Jean-Luc Ponty on violin, Stanley Clarke on acoustic bass, and then hand claps. And it may be Steve Gadd or Narada Michael Walden, the 2 drummers on the album. So it's kind of a small group. There's no drums, and there's this amazing groove to the thing, but the percussion section is hand claps and foot stomps. So just that right there, if you can't imagine this, or maybe you haven't heard this for years, or maybe you haven't heard it at all, that's what's going on. So Chick Corea, so it's called My Spanish Heart. There's a picture of him as a matador on the cover, Spanish. So this has a real Afro-Cuban vibe to it, or a Cuban vibe to it. Now, the country of Cuba, of course, the 2 biggest influences, culture and music, were West Africa, the enslaved people that were brought against their will to Cuba, and then the Spanish, right? So that all comes together in Cuban music. So this is, it's a rumba kind of flavor. There's sort of other things going on, but one of the rhythms, so it's going by kind of fast, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I'm clapping on 1 and 3. And now you'll hear the foot stomps, stomp, stomp, stomp. So there's that 1 and 3, they're stomping a lot. And one of the rhythms we're hearing is dun, 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 dun. So it's like the 3 part of the 3-2 clave. 1, the and, a 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Dun, 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 dun. So we hear that in the clapping. We hear that in the bass line some of the time. Some of the time Stanley Clarke does a smoother 1 and 3. 1 and 3, like with the foot stomping. 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. Sometimes 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1. So there's these cool rhythms that come, the Cuban rhythms that we trace back to West Africa, but also Spanish origins in there. So I tell you what, let's listen to this thing. I could talk endlessly before it, during it, after it. So let's kind of check out what's going on. I said I could talk endlessly, and it seems like I may. One of the things I want to point out is the arrangement. Even with such a small group, and it sounds even more intimate because we don't have drums and cymbals and all that kind of stuff, we hear a lot of unison in the melody. So the piano and the violin and the bass are playing in unison, but also in harmony. But the idea is they're playing unison rhythms. So it's just one rhythm against hand claps often. Then when we get into solos, there's the hand clap part, there's a bass line, which is propelling things, doing the foundational bass part, and then the soloist. So there's so much just arrangement-wise. There's an interlude that happens in the middle of each solo, which is a very cool thing. We solo, then there's a unison interlude part, and then back to soloing. So that's a fascinating structural thing. So I'm going to do my best to let this thing play. It's just such a blast to listen to, and I've really enjoyed getting into it deeper than I ever have. And this is so exciting because I'm going to get to work on this with all these folks coming to the Summer Summit. Here we go. This is called Armando's Rhumba. Cool intro. You hear what I mean about the unison part? So the clapping and the bass, violin and piano are all playing that same rhythm. And it changes a bit there. Longer chords. The melody a second time, but now pizzicato on the violin, up the octave on the bass. Isn't that grooving? Jeez. And now solos. That was the melody twice. And so now if you listen down to Stanley Clarke, you can hear that pulse. Ding, 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 ding. Nice driving feel, right? Second chorus of violin. Notice Chick on piano playing the montuno. A Cuban style of accompaniment on piano. Here comes that interlude I was talking about. All together. And back to the violin solo. Isn't that slick? And there was a 3-chorus solo. Now bass. So there's really 3 parts. Clapping, which has a complexity of its own. There's different parts going on. Montuno on piano. And the solo voice. 3 things. And a lot of chops. Stanley Clarke. Always. And here comes that interlude. All together. Back to the bass solo. I love that interlude in the middle of a solo. It's very cool. Next solo. Never really noticed Jean-Luc Ponty is comping behind Chick. Playing some long notes. Some double stops. It's very nice. Man, Chick always had such a percussive, driving time, but how he played the instrument, the percussiveness, like McCoy Tyner, but different. Interlude. And we don't miss the drums, do we? I mean, we've got the clapping that's serving that role, but man, as I listen to Chick, as I listen to Stanley Clarke, it's just leaning so far forward. So now we're trading 4s and 8s here. So that's one chorus of trading. Here we go. Second chorus. Next soloist. Next soloist. And they stay on because there's this weird part of the form here. It's funny how Chick's time, it's just like he's a little kid running downhill. It feels so great, right? Man, just when he came in on that line, it's like breathtaking. Melody out. How about that clapping? One. said, there's some other overdubbed clapping parts. So there's every once in a while a rhythmic conflict, or there's a thickness to it. It's not perfect, right? The clapping isn't perfect, which I think is lovely. And yeah, you can imagine the audience going wild there. Wow. That's what a blast, right? And that's a tune that it's so great. Why don't we hear more people do it? Why don't we play it in our jazz band? Why don't they do it at the jam session that we go to? And the answer is the chords aren't that hard. The form isn't that weird. The melody isn't that impossibly hard to play. We could imagine playing, a drum part to that or a traditional bass line. There's enough different moving parts, how the bass changes from this to that, how we have the interlude. Which time? Oh, it's the third time in the solos. There's so many little things that need rehearsal at the end of the day. They need to be put together. Even a pro band, if everybody didn't commit to learning it exactly like the album, and you didn't trust, and you trusted those people, those pros, to show up at a jam session or on stage at a gig, but even that, I would be pretty nervous. I'm talking about top end pros, because now we have to get the groove together. So why do we play other complicated songs like Donna Lee or Confirmation, or think of some other complicated tunes? Those are maybe melodically complicated, even harder chords than this one, but the bass does the bass roll. The drums does the drum roll. The comping, just comp, This needs a montuno, and the montuno needs to talk to the bass line, which needs to be talking to the cymbal pattern, and it's like, if that's not all happening, all a long way of saying these fusion kind of tunes, if we want to call this fusion music, I think we can, require a good degree of rehearsal. So it's not a jam session tune. It's just kind of not. Or it'd have to be a pretty hip jam session. So so there's all this wonderful music that we hear atypically or never, because it takes so much assembly and the same people, right? If you assemble this with these 4 or 5 people in your band and 2 people sub out on the next gig, you can't do this tune. I don't think you can, right? Or it'll be difficult. So that's why this is a wonderful tune that I wish we heard more. And as I said, I'm so excited to be doing this at the Summer Summit, where we're going to have 5 days, 2 rehearsals a day, 10 rehearsals with bands to get this tune like screaming. And I'm talking about even at a novice level, at an intermediate level, let alone the advanced levels, we're going to have folks playing this and sounding great. So very excited about it. If you'd like to be involved in one of the summits this year, send us a note, and we'll see if we can get you enrolled. And of course, we do this every year, right? So yes, we need to plan our resources and our time and vacation and whatever. So be thinking ahead to 2026. Chick Corea. All right. Have a great week, everybody.